Hi there. So today we're going to be looking at how what you've learnt in Chapter 7, which is about writing to describe, will be put to good use in the actual exam. Writing to describe is something that crops up on paper 2, in which you have two tasks. You have the directed writing question, which we'll be looking at later, and composition. I'll have a look at what they mean by composition in a moment. The paper itself is 2 hours long, and you have to answer one question from section A and another question from section B. The total mark for this paper is 80, and each question is worth 40 marks. This simply means that you will spend an hour on the composition question, which is just about right, I think. So let's have a look at what they mean by composition. Section B, composition, which is another word for essay, by the way. It just means a piece of writing. You will have a choice of 2 descriptive writing questions and 2 narrative writing questions. You only have to answer one, so you can spend a few minutes choosing which is the most appetising for you. This is a test of your imagination, really, and being able to write descriptively and imaginatively and creatively. So choose the one that most inspires you. As a general rule of thumb, I think descriptive writing is easier than narrative writing, especially in the context of an exam. It's a tiring thing, an exam. You'll already have answered the question on section A, which is quite an exacting task, doing directed writing. And so you might be flagging a bit by the time you get to section B. And descriptive writing, which you can do, is simply writing for a set amount of time, describing something, which I think is easier under exam conditions than coming up with a story. With a story, you've got to come up with characters. It's got to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you've got to make sure that you get to the end at the end of the exam time, which is an hour, which can be quite difficult to time. Descriptive writing, however, can be more or less written by the meter. You can just chop it at not quite, but almost any point. And if you're describing something, it will still have a cogency and a shape to it, as long as you followed what I've told you to do in the chapter. So with descriptive writing, they tend to pick things that are quite general, so you can let your imagination run free. So write a description with the title Downhill, or describe what you see, hear and feel in a very crowded street. Now both of those things, which should not tax your imagination too much, all of you will have experienced something that involves going downhill, whether it's on a ski slope or running down a hill or on a toboggan or whatever else. And everybody's been in a very crowded street. So you can let your imagination and creativity run riot with both of those, really, and just give a bit of thought to it. Which one do you like best? Which one makes you feel imaginative or inspired? And right away. You can use your own experience, obviously, with descriptive writing. You can make something up if it's easier, but I always think it's easier still to use your own experience. If, for example, the word downhill reminds you of a ski slope you've been on, or a toboggan ride, or running down a hill, or having a race down a hill that you've actually done, then you've just got to describe from your memory rather than making something up. But that's a descriptive writing question. The marking is a little strange as far as I'm concerned because of the odd allocation of the marks. So 60 marks are available for the content and structure of your answer, and 24 marks for the style and accuracy of your writing. So the content and structure, which the content simply meaning what you choose to put into your description, and the structure of it meaning has it got a good shape. So you have an eye to a beginning and a middle and an end to a piece of descriptive writing. It's very important with narrative writing that a story is structured in a way to build tension, let the plot unfold. Less important with descriptive writing, but it's still good to give it some sort of a shape. And then 24 marks are awarded for the style and accuracy. Now, the style shows that you know that it's descriptive writing, so you're following a descriptive writing style. And the accuracy is the things such as spelling, grammar, punctuation, and those sorts of things. It's very important in this question, whichever you choose, that you follow what I've shown you for each of the styles of writing. So for descriptive writing, don't tell a story. And for narrative writing, don't just describe. Okay, one of the ways in which you can lose marks in this question is writing too much of a story with descriptive writing, building tension, having a plot and so on, or making narrative writing a bit too woolly and loose so it's merely description. So make sure you make a distinction between those two. As always, read your work carefully through when you get to the end. Allow 5 minutes at the end to read through and check for any errors. 350 to 450 words, it's not a huge amount. It might be an idea if you could count the words on a page of handwriting that you've done, if you're handwriting your exam, to see how long that would be and therefore what to aim for. If you're somebody that writes masses and masses but forgets to read through, do avoid doing that. It's always quality over quantity with this question. Okay, well, I hope that's helpful, and I look forward very much to reading what you produce in answer to Chapter 7. Get in touch with me if you've got any questions.